The problem with vlogs is sometimes your videos disappear, and I just realized that whoops, don't want to go that way, the sun. My original, let's turn that way, you get to see my whole yard. My original intro for Mid-Month Book Bash, the video is gone. So this is a quick little intro from 2 days after it started. I'm doing Mid-Month Book Bash for the first time. I always mean to do it, and then I forget about it, but I'm doing it this year, this month. This is our last school year weekend. My kids have three and a half days left of school. This is a pretty busy weekend for me. So when I tape this on Friday, one thing I said is my Saturday is very busy, and you will see a clip after this of what happened my Saturday. My reading goals for this weekend. I'm reading a lot of books, but my reading priorities are Disillusioned by C.J. Sanson, Love's Labour's Lost by William Shakespeare, and then whatever else I can get done. I am currently reading 2 booktube books. I'm listening to one, reading one, so I probably won't talk about those. And yeah, so this is my intro from 2 days after it started, because technology is just, it's hard. It's an 85-degree day today, and my hydrangea is finally starting to bloom. It's blooming late. My husband put some like acidophilus, whatever, I don't know, acidophilus, whatever stuff on it to change the color of the blooms, because he's that way. You can kind of hear the band practicing. You hear the drums over here. This is when my husband decided to plant one little mint plant, and everyone told him, don't do that. And he said, why? What could happen? This is what happened. That's from one plant. And that was like 2 years ago he planted that. Over here we have our blueberries and our strawberries. Strawberries are coming up. Blueberries should be ready in a couple weeks, but then my daughter will eat them all before we get any. That's how it happens every year. And then once again, my husband is trying to grow tomatoes. We'll see what happens. I don't have much confidence in that. He's never succeeded. Over here it's kind of a mess because there's other stuff around, but this is a rosemary plant, which I actually do use a lot. I like having rosemary here, so just give it a little. And then over here is where our table is, and the basketball hoop that I said we need to get rid of because the kids never use it, so then they started using it. There you go. Lord, this has been a crazy day so far. So it's Saturday, the 8th, and I'm in a parking lot in a park waiting for my kids to finish their tennis lesson. Their one tennis lesson. I don't know how they're going to learn tennis in 1 hour. So I had Girl Scout Red Cross training this morning, and the Red Cross lost my registration, so that was a whole ordeal to get that done. And then came home, rushed around. The website told me that the tennis lesson was in a different place than it was, so I had to run around and get this. Oh my goodness, I have not read anything today, and it can tell my nerves, like my nerves are there. They're just raw. I need to go home and read, but I have book club tonight, so yeah. Hopefully I will get reading done tonight. Probably just not as much as I'd like, but right now I'm going to sit in the air conditioning, watch my kids finish their tennis, and yeah, what a day! Yikes. okay, it's Sunday the 9th. You might see smoke appearing. Don't worry, it's my husband starring the grill. It's a little windy. I'm out in the backyard. A little bit of an update. So you saw my very hectic update yesterday where it was just a day. It was a busy day just in general. And then everything was just, there was just a hiccup with every little thing. And so I was like, I did get some reading done, not as much as I probably wanted. And I really just read my daily chapter of Les Miserables, and then I read Disillusion. And then today, I gave you some, like, after church, we did a little ride through the country. So you saw some of that. And then I finished Disillusion by C.J. Sampson. So this is my first book by C.J. Sampson. This qualifies for both Big Book Summer because it's 400 and something pages, and for Read Historical Fiction 2024. It will fill my Read a Historical Mystery box because it is a historical mystery. So I'm really excited to try this series because I've heard good things about it. And it didn't disappoint. It wasn't perfect. It didn't disappoint, but it was still really good. And I still am interested in following with the series. So it's set in 1537. So during the reign of Henry VIII, his third wife, Jane Seymour, has just died. So we're past Catherine of Aragon, we're past Anne Boleyn, and then we're past Jane Seymour, but we're before Anne of Cleves. Don't need to know that much about Jane Seymour. One of her relatives plays a small part in it. And then there's lots of references to the execution of Anne Boleyn. So that's kind of where we are in history. So Disillusion refers to the dissolution of the monasteries, which was, breaking away from the Catholic Church, the founding of the Church of England, and dissolving the monasteries. Basically what this happened is, from what I understand in the book, which is actually not the way I understand it in history, so I it's been a long time since college. Let's just put it that way. In many cases, monasteries were basically either told to or very strongly encouraged to dissolve. And then the lands that they owned, the land and the riches that they owned, were confiscated by the crown and frequently given to people as rewards. So Matthew Shardlake, who is the detective type person in this, he's actually a lawyer. And in this book, he works for Thomas Cromwell. And there has been a murder of someone else in a very similar position who's been sent to a monastery. That person was beheaded sort of violently. They don't know who. So Matthew Shardlake is sent down or to over, I think it's down, I think it's south, I'm not sure, to this monastery to figure out what happened. And he brings along with him this guy named Mark, who he refers to him as he's like a son, but really the relationship is more like brothers. So Matthew Shardlake has a physical deformity, and because of that, he grew up on a farm, and it was very clear that he would never take over the farm. So his father put him in, got him educated, he became a lawyer. Mark's father was the person that they hired to come take care of the farm, and Matthew Shardlake sort of has taken him over and is trying to get him into a law career. So that's kind of where that's going. So it's a little like more brothers, even though they say he's like a son to me, he's really more like a brother to him. And I say that not because age or anything like that. There's some conflict that arises between the two of them in this book, which doesn't seem like, maybe I'm being naive here, but doesn't seem like a conflict that would arise between a father and a son, but it would arise between brothers. So anyway, he goes down to this monastery to figure out what happened. And then there's a bunch of other stuff going on in this monastery. That's really all you need to know about. Oh, here comes the smoke. That's the setup for this book. And I don't want to go too much further into it. There were things that I really, really loved about it. The only thing that I really kind of had a problem with it is that I kind of suspected the resolution, at least part of the resolution early on, probably earlier than I would have wanted to in a book like this. That's my only drawback with this. Well, with the story, because I will get to my drawback with the book in a moment. I really like the writing. The writing, it's very well written. The characters, so really mostly this is the first book in the series, so you're developing Matthew Shardlake's character, but some of the other characters are also developed very, very well. There is an incredibly strong sense of place in this book. And I like that it's always tricky when you write a historical fiction that features like actual historical figure adjacent characters, because you have to kind of adhere to the history as well. And he does a really good job with that. The suspense was really going. There was a little part where I was like, really? But even in the book, it was kind of addressed that way, so it was okay. Even the secondary characters that we're not ever going to see again were interesting. So really enjoyed this. Now, this particular book has been turned into a TV series called Shard Lake on Hulu and Disney Plus. I started watching it. I watched about 30 seconds of it. My husband walked into the room, said, "What's this?" And I told him, and he said he wanted to watch it. So I said, fine, I will just stop it now. And we'll start it tonight. So I have no views on the TV show yet. I did hear that there's definitely some difference between the TV show and the book, but that's fine. I don't care. And my assumption is that there's 6, 7, 8 books, something like, there's 7 books in the series, I believe. My assumption is that each book will continue to get its own series. This series is 4 episodes long, or this season is 4 episodes long, which my assumption is that will continue. And I am definitely going to continue on with the series. Now, let me tell you about my issue with this book. And when I say the book, I mean the actual physical book. This looks like a trade paperback. It's the right size for a trade paperback. It's the right price for a trade paperback. It is in all intents, it looks, but it's actually a mass market paperback in disguise. It's the paper is that sort of gritty paper, that less expensive paper that you get in mass market paperbacks, and the binding is such, it's very much like a mass market paperback. You can't really see it because of the cover design, but I had to break the spine on this one just to read it. So this book is, again, nothing to do with the story, just the actual physical book. This physical book is going into a little free library. I think that I will probably read the rest of the series digitally, which is too bad because I'm really enjoying the series. I would put it there with, I wouldn't say it's quite up there with Armand Gamache or Corker Connor, but it's pretty darn close. It's probably the closest series that I have come to with those. My husband's working on something right now, so the table might shake a little bit. That's okay. He got a cherry picker thing, and he's trying to get it to fit to his pole. Anyway. But yeah, so I'm a little disappointed in the physical book, but the story was really good. I'm going to continue reading it. As for other things I've been reading, I am 2/3 of the way through Love's Labor's Lost. There we go. There's a lot of L's in there. It's, I'll save my thoughts for that for a Wednesdays with Will. I am doing an immersive read, so I'm listening to it as I read it, which is probably really good in this case because it's a comedy and it's not an incredibly deep comedy. So, and the comedy is also things that I probably wouldn't pick up if I were just reading the words, so it helps to hear an intonation with it. So, and then the other book that I'm really kind of concentrating on is The Dove Keepers by Alice Hoffman. It'll be a long time before I finish this one because that book is long. It's over 500 pages. So I didn't know that when I decided I would read it. I mean, it works. I decided to read it for Read Historical Fiction 2024, not for Big Book Summer. So I was kind of surprised to see how long it was. But so far, it's fantastic. Wow, just had some ashes fly by me. So I have been reading that. I won't finish that this weekend at all, but I will finish Love's Labor's Lost tonight or tomorrow. So yeah, that's what's going on. Tomorrow is Monday, last day of mid-month book bash. The kids are back in school tomorrow for the last Monday of the school year. Their last full day is Wednesday. They have a half day on Thursday. And what I think I'm going to do, because my husband has a meeting on Thursday night online, so what I think I'm going to do is my son has a coding thing that he does on Thursday nights. I will probably pick him up with my daughter, and I think we might go out for dinner, just like end of school year sort of thing. So to a restaurant where my husband the husband's got some dietary restrictions, so he can't really eat there. So I'll take the kids and I to eat there. That same place we went last year. We're going to go have Lebanese food, but that's the plan. But that's for, the weekly wrap up. As for this, that's what I can only say I have accomplished. I have finished at least one of the books that I said there were 2 books I wanted to finish, and I have finished one of them, and I'm 2/3 way the other, and I'll see what kind of footage I get tomorrow. I don't know if you're even going to be able to see me in this, the angle and everything, but it is Monday the 10th. So it's the last day of mid-month book bash, and I did finish Love's Labor's Lost, which is very short thoughts on this. Not the best Shakespeare play, not the worst Shakespeare play. I think it's kind of lightweight, but it's probably one that's fun to watch because there's a lot of room for physical humor. So I will be watching at some point. The cat's over there. At some point in the very near future, I will be watching an adaptation of this. We have Broadway HD, and they have a lot of the Stratford Festival productions on there. And they do great ones. So I'm probably going to watch that. Hopefully they have one for this, but I can't foresee that they don't. I also started Know My Name this morning. Whew. I mean, it's tough, but I mean, that's not a surprise. Everyone knows it. So there's a bird that just flew over it. Now the cat is losing her ish. Oh, the bird's up there. Sorry. And the smart bird flew across the street. Now the cat is feeling she lost her chance. Not that she was going to get that one anyway, but anyway. Know My Name. Very tough read. So gorgeously written. I mean, what happened to Chanel Miller was absolutely horrible, but she's such a talented writer that I really wish she would have gotten an opportunity to write something without this happening because it is so wonderful. I mean, her writing is so tight and evocative and poetic, yet approachable. So good. I've done sprints with two different people today. I was on Caitlin's sprints, and you know, she said that when she read it in like a day or two. And I can see myself doing that, but I'm being really strict with myself, and I'm making myself read it over 5 days. So I have a little bit more to read in what I want to get done today. And then I'm going to move on to something else until tomorrow, because I am doing this as a buddy read with Kim. And then I have to say, sprints have been saving my life. So I was on with Caitlin this morning and Nicole a little bit this morning and then this afternoon. So yeah, now that I've actually tried doing sprints, I've realized how effective they are. Even if it's not reading, even if it's like a productivity one, how effective they can be. But in any case, I am going to end this now because I don't know how much more reading I'm going to get. I'm going to leave in a little bit to get my daughter from school. We'll have some like after school stuff. And then this evening I am going to like a thank you dinner for Girl Scout leaders. So my family has to make their own dinner, which is fine with me. My friend / co-leader is going to come get me, which is good because we're not driving the car that wouldn't go into park. That one's just sitting there until my husband can get it fixed, because we're afraid that if we drive it again, we won't be able to get it back into park. So we're down to one car, which is always such a pain. And then this morning, or sometime during the middle of the night, I messed, because I just got over the back issue, and I have a knee issue because I had my foot tangled up in the sheets and I rolled over and I twisted my knee. So I've been limping around all day and I'm feeling old. Such is life. Anyway, enough of my woes. I am going to leave this here. This was it, my first mid-month book bash vlog. So I hope you enjoyed, and hopefully we'll be back with one next month. Bye.